Good morning, this is Rich. The purpose of this video is to walk you through setting up a project summary report. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to double click on this Vision 6.2 on my desktop. And that's going to start the Deltek application. I'm going to type in my password. And this is the main Deltek screen we all get to, and this is the interface for all the different functions that Deltek provides for us. So we are going to first, I'll just remind you, we're going to look at time and expenses. Type in my timesheet, or I'll click on my timesheet over here on the left side of the screen, and this is my timesheet so far this week. What I want to do is set up a project report. So I can go back to the beginning. Again, this is what I see when I first open up, first thing in the morning. All I've done is type in my password. I want to go to reporting, and then under reporting over here on the side, I want to go down to project reporting. So under project reporting, we have this, this is what you see next, and these are the reports that have been created that have already been set up. So what we want to do is we want to start with a project summary report. So project summary report, we see that one right down here. It's got a little triangle next to it, and so that means it is selected. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to customize this project summary report to meet our needs. So in this next column over here, we've got under the options column. Again, we're in the same row, project summary row. I've clicked in this box, and this little thing with 3 dots opens up. So I'm going to click on that. All right, and that opens this standalone window, and it's got these tabs that run along the top. What I'm going to go through, and you might have to pause on the YouTube video. Actually, I think I've got to get all this in under 15 minutes, or it won't let me publish to YouTube. So I've got to kind of go through this a little bit more quickly. But hopefully, you can pause and click all the right things that I recommend. So these things on the top are going to remain the same. I do want to include unposted labor. And I want to check these boxes, show budget balance when there's no budget. Goodness, if that happens, I want it shown. And I want to print final totals. Over here, instead of just, well, the drill down is when you see in the report in a few minutes, it's going to say, for instance, 40 hours have been spent on a project. And drill down means when you click on that number 40, it's going to show you all of the hours and comments associated, that built up to that 40 hours. So drill down is really showing you the details. And when I look at details, in this case, I'm going to look at transaction date. So I'm going to click on that there. I'm going to go to the next tab, which is the activity tab. That's our activity. I'm going to go ahead and click both of these off. Actually, when I click the first one off, they both go off, so leave those off. Go to the expense tab. And I want to see all the expenses. If there's any kind of expenses associated with the project, so all these are on. Sorting and grouping, I don't have to do anything. I like the report sorted with my project number first and my phase number second. Columns is the next one, and this is the tricky one. All right, now I've got to go through this relatively quickly for it to make sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck all of the ones that are default checked. So right now there are none checked at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the column name, and then it's going to arrange all the columns that I can have in my report alphabetically. And I'm going to select the ones that I want. And I'm going to do this rather quickly, but I'm going to go through it. So budgeted hours, I want budgeted hours. I want job to date hours, which is down here under J. I want current hours. I want balance of hours. Next I want amounts. I want a budgeted amount. I want a job to date amount. And I want a current amount. And last I want the balance amount. Okay, so I've got the ones I want to check. Now I'm going to click this button, and it's going to arrange them in the order of ones checked. I then want to get these columns that I've selected in the order that I want. So I like to start with budgeted hours as my first column. So that's this one. So I'll move this little triangle thing down where it's on budgeted hours, and I'll click these little green bars. I'll move that one to the top. So budgeted hours on top. Then I want job to date hours next. I want current hours next. Balance hours I want after that. Balance hours. Then I want to start with the amounts. So I want the budgeted amount first. I want the job to date amount next. I want the current hours. And then I want the balance of hours. So this is the order that I think makes the most sense when we set up a project. So that's the order I recommend. Create a quick graph right here. Got to make sure I don't run out of time. I would like to show the graph. Bar is good, none is good. I want to see any of this. I'm going to call it hour summary. That's the y-axis title. And then what I'm going to want to see on the bars is I'm going to want to start out seeing budgeted hours. Budgeted hours. I also want to see that compared, so I'm going to click this little box here. I want to see budgeted hours compared to job to date hours. And I want to see both of those compared to current hours. Current hours. Okay. This stuff on the bottom is good. I'll go to the last tab, layout, and it's good. So we're going to say apply. All right, in this next project, one way to do it, which is actually I just saw Laura do it, and it was kind of let me show you. Well, one way to do it would be to just type in the project number if you know it. So 1 dash, I think it's 1659-004. Let's see if that looks like a project. Melbourne Grant, Melbourne Grant Support. Okay, we can do that. Or if we go over here and we want to search for a project, we could select what field we want to search on. One good field might be long project name. Maybe it says project name long. Project long name, who would have thought? And if I type in, actually once I've said project long name, I'll go over here to this magnifying glass, project long name, search for text. Melbourne, I'm going to search, and then this is the Melbourne project, Melbourne TMDL grant support I'm looking for. Again, I've already typed this number in. A second way would be to select it, or click on it and then click select here, and then we can click apply. So now we've got records selected, and if we go back here it says TMDL grant support is our record that's selected. Alright, so we've put the options in we wanted here. We've chosen the records we want here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to say organize favorites. Favorite project name, we'll say Melbourne TMDL grant support example, and we'll click save. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my dashboard. So I've created that. Where is it? This was the one we just created right here, Melbourne TMDL grant support example. So this is the one we created. And then where we're going to use that is we're going to go back to the dashboard. Again, this is as if we've just signed out. We've typed in our password. This is the opening screen we see. And the one we just created is here. It says Melbourne TMDL grant support example. So we're going to click on that. And it's going to build our report. So this is the report. Again, we're talking about one click away. It shows me the budgeted hours, job to date hours, all those columns we selected. Here's the drill down. If I want to see what hours are current, I can click on current hours, and it'll give me what we call a drill down. It's going to show me where that 171 hours came from, and it'll show me the comments associated with those actually by date. We could go back and modify the report and have it by person, but again, early on I chose by date. So here's the hours, the comments associated with them. This U over here means that this was from this week and it's unposted so far. And all the rest of these are the hours where, see page 1 of 2, go to the second page, way down at the bottom, that added up to the 171 hours. So that is a typical, and of course we've got the same thing with billing over here. We're going to call it a billing, but it's amounts that are associated with these hours. So we're going to close that report out. If we want to make another report for a different project, what we can do is click on Project Reporting over here on the left. We can click on the Melbourne Support project that we just created, which is this one. So I've got my little triangle right there. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to change to different records. I'm going to say a different Melbourne project is 1-1659-002, and I guess I'll click elsewhere to see if that comes up. Would you like to save changes made to this personal folder? Well, it's the only change we've made, so I'm going to say yes. Whoops, hang on. I'm not sure I wanted to do it that way. Let's see, now this is the one that I want to be on 1-1659-004. And I do want to change that to my personal favorite. Well, I thought I could do it up here, but I guess I'm going to have to do it here, down in Project Summary, where, again, these are the same options that we selected previously. You can still see that it's live, so to speak. But these are the options we had selected, and all I really want to change is to create a different, I want to do a project report for a different project, so I'm going to say 1-1659-002, and that'll create the Water Quality Master Plan project. And I'm going to say Organize Favorites, and it will let me save that as Melbourne Water Quality Grant example. I'll save that. And again, so you can see how here's the original one we created. It's a Water Quality Grant example one we've added. Again, go back to the dashboard and show you that it has now been added to the potential projects here on the dashboard that we can choose from. So we'll click on that. And this will be the project report for the City of Melbourne Water Quality Master Plan. So again, this one happens to be broken up into tasks, so we can see where all the hours are per date for tasks. I'll click on current hours, for instance, and it will give me a report for what is the basis of that number. So hopefully this helps, and hopefully you find it useful. This one arranged the labor detail by name somehow. Interesting. But it is multiple pages long, and it shows you all the documentation and all of the comments associated with the that 335.25 hours. So hopefully that helps. Have a great day.